Today on Hoop-de-Doodle, we clean and line the inside of the gas tank, write some dirty words on the side of it, and attach it to the bike. Today on Hoop-de-Doodle's Goldwing bobber build, we're finally going to finish up this gas tank, and that is going to take us to the almost final video in this build series. It's amazing. It's been a long haul. 60 videos. That's a long build series, let me tell you. So the final bits we've got to do on this tank, we spent hours and hours welding and now soldering this tank to try and get it airtight. And so the last and final thing we have to do with it is to seal it from the inside. We're going to treat and seal this tank using this stuff. I've got this Kreem fuel tank liner. So there's 2 bottles in here that treat the tank, basically de-rust it and prep it for sealing, and then we've got a sealer here that coats the inside of the tank and seals up any little pinholes in the tank supposedly as well, which is one of my major concerns at this point. And then hopefully when we're done with this, we'll have a tank that holds gasoline. All right, let's take a look at this stuff. Alright, so first step on cleaning this guy is to rinse it out with soapy water. I'm supposed to fill it up a quarter of the way with water, throw some soap in there, some dish soap, and swish it around real good and then rinse the soap out. So I'm going to go do that, and then we'll be back because the next step is to do this tank prep A. Alright, the tank has been rinsed out with soapy water. That is first step done. And now I found one of the things that was useful here. My dad has been saving these little caps for years. And this, I'm sure, came off of little engines. These are probably like little oil seals from engines, brand new engines that were shipped or something. And he's got several of these, and they fit perfectly into the ends of my gas tank here. And so I can just screw these on here, and then that plugs up both of the holes on the end. And those actually hold water, which is pretty awesome. And we throw some acid etching stuff in here next. All right, so my next moves here are to put the acid A, the A part of the process, into the tanks. Pour all of that into the tank. You seal off the ends here, which I've done. And then on this end, we're gonna leave this part open right here, so it can off gas crazy chemical reaction gases. So do that. And then basically this is a metal etcher. It's supposed to dissolve rust. It's an acid of some kind, and so they say to use warm water, and so warm water is going to speed up the reaction to some degree. The higher the temperature, the faster the reaction basically that's going on, and so this stuff will react with the rust and neutralize it is basically the concept. We'll pour this in first and then pour in the warm water. I want the warm water to fill the entire tank all the way up. So that's the plan. I'm going to set this down and level it off so that the tank is nice and level like this, and then we'll fill it all the way to the top here. And if some gets out onto the paint, well, that doesn't really matter now, does it? Alright, so I've got a funnel. I've got my acid etch solution A. Pour that all in here. Got some warm water. Alright, there's mine. I've got it filled straight to the top so that it's overflowing, which is probably not ideal for most people because most people want to preserve their paint to some degree. I'm not in that category, which I realize is unique. So that's it. It's filled up with the concoction, and I'm just gonna let it go. I can already see little chemical reaction bubbles bubbling up there. So we'll leave it there. It's out in the garage, and I'm gonna leave a door open so that it's ventilated out here, and then we'll leave it overnight and let it do its thing, and then we'll move on to the next step. Here it is the next day. We've got this weird acidy sort of spill thing here from where it spilled out yesterday. It was bubbling up from out of here. It was bubbling up and spilling out over the top here at some point, and you can see it pushed out a decent amount of water because this was filled right to the very top here before. It stopped bubbling probably 4 or 5 hours in, and I just continued to let it sit overnight. So now the plan is to dispose of the stuff that's inside here and then to move on to our next step, which is part B, which is basically a cleanser. We got to rinse this tank out, put part B in there, and then that will cleanse out any water residue basically, and then on to part C, which is the actual liner itself. That's the good part, the fun part. So all right, so I've rinsed it out thoroughly until it was just clear water coming out here. Sometimes it will foam at the beginning, and so until you rinse it till it stops foaming and everything is just clear water coming out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cap these back up. And then I've also got a cap for this. I'm gonna use the actual gas cap, and then I've got stuff. I got some tape basically in the gas cap to seal that off so it doesn't actually come out the vent hole here. And we'll use this guy and to seal off the actual gas cap there. And our next step is to immediately use this tank prep B and dump all of this in here. Go ahead and rinse this around in there. And then you dump it back into this bottle. Our next step is the actual liner itself, and first we gotta shake this thing up. You go ahead and pour stuff in here, and I pour in the entire pint. And we seal it up here with this guy. We cap it off, and then rotate it around. Try and get the coating everywhere inside the tank. I especially want to get it around all here. I want to get it everywhere, but I especially want to make sure everything down here is coated, because I worry that this part that I cut has little pinholes in it. And this stuff should seal up any pinholes. Alright, now I'm supposed to take the cap off. It looks like everything is coated in there. So that's what it looks like on the inside now. And I'll let that sit, and we'll come back and rotate it again. Alright, time to roll this thing around again. Go ahead and put the gas cap back on. Alright, so the final step on this guy is to pour out the excess from the tank. Let's see if we can do that. I'm going to try and get it back in the bottle here. It's drained about as much as it's gonna drain. So plan is, the step that I'm supposed to do is to remove all the caps. So this cap will take off, and all these caps down here, I'm also gonna remove these guys. And now I'm just supposed to let it dry. So I'm gonna leave it like this and let it ventilate for like another day or two. And while the tank liner was drying, we did the lettering on the side of the tank. That's genuine imitation gold, folks. Genuine imitation. Alright, we have finally reached the day. It is time for the crowning jewel. And now I've actually got to hook up some fuel line to this guy and run it down here to this fuel pump and then up to the carbs here. So in order to do that, we've also got a spigot on the other side as well. So to do that, I've got a number of things here, some parts. We've got some hoses, we've got some hose clamps, and we've got a little T to connect the pipes, and a couple valves right there, and a little fuel filter. All right, so I'd like to take these valves here and hook one like right there on either side. One there, one over here. So I only need a short little piece of hose to go between those two. Put my little hose on here. 2 hose clamps. And then what direction does this thing go in? That way. Alright. Valve. Same on the other side. And there it is. After all this time, all this work, we've done it. The tank is the final piece of the bike. We have a fully assembled bike now. So there's only one more thing we can do on this. That's to put some gas in it and start it up. And see if our wiring on the ignition actually works. That will be key to make it actually run. So we're gonna do that next time. See you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.